down, but Thea does play the Astra on this map. That's an old classic for her, even back to like the EG days when she started calling, has always enjoyed playing that Astra. So there are some options to still have that long range support with that agent locked in.
No, for sure. I think especially starting out on the attacking side, the Astra utility is going to be huge into that.
Yeah, look at Shower right now with the star. It's just down there, and that's exactly the right place for this early fight. Kikimorei have 3 players on this side of the map, and Cal could even teleport into things 1-for-1 to start things off as Bob jumps away. A flash through the teleporter. Cal Sushi has been locked out of the round. Bob with a few, and Kurrosu still hunting down, but overextending into Showers has left this side open.
Autumn's just been hard anchoring over towards that B side as well. Now there's an opportunity to take that space over towards CT on top of that. And they might even just be tap and
pushing
walk
back
over.
into tiles now, and Autumn sprinting into spawn, fully prepared for this one. Ev wins the fight, but Kurrosu got 2 into the back. And now with the spike back in hand, Ev is going to sprint back towards the B side, but Kurrosu has exactly the right idea, exactly the read on this one. Shots traded, and Kurrosu is quick on their heels. Absolutely wild that Ev's going to have the time to put this spike back onto the ground, but won't have time to retreat. This fight is going to come quickly. Kurrosu inching forward and wins! Unbelievable!
A 4K here for Kurrosu, and on top of that, with the defuse here as well, just 1 away from the kill contract heading into the second round of this match. It was quite the fight to start things off there over towards Showers. We talked about those potential flashes, those crunch plays. FlyQuest with the stun that Thea had placed down with the star was a really heads up play to try and deny that angle early on, and it was really that back and forth that came on through, and surprising, I think, for FlyQuest to also not take that round away, considering they were in that 3v2. They were trying to isolate that fight over towards CT, but Kurrosu's such a hero in those moments.
And surprising maybe to see FlyQuest force again in round 2. They lost this in the same situation back on the first half of Corrode. This is something they've been doing for a while. Quick shot takes Korra down very low HP, but Korra's not slowing down. Look at that star! The cross-map setup from Thea is immaculate, and FlyQuest have just trounced the A site.
Spike planted.
Very early usage of that Trailblazer as well to try and clear out over towards back site, but FlyQuest aren't going to look to take the timing on it. Instead, maintaining control of U-Haul here. 2 players
Retake
waiting.
is going to be awkward too.
Yep.
Flash does get a ping into Showers. Autumn scales forward, but these shots, they're not fully connecting. Continually traded, and now, without any control into lamps, Autumn's got to get something done. That outlaw of her teammate smoked off. Now Lace turning things around. FlyQuest make this force pay off.
They definitely do. I did like the idea from Kikimorei. You had Terror throwing down that clove smoke over towards you front lamps, making it a little bit difficult to actually hold that crossfire, but Kikimorei weren't able to actually flood on in time, and the recall smoke coming out from Thea as well, just to give that false sense of security and make it a little more awkward for Kikimorei to get those positions to fight those FlyQuest players, but the force pays off this time around. Now they're looking extremely comfortable into this next round. I like this walk-up.
Yeah, walk-up's kind of everywhere right now. Nice shot out of Terror. And FlyQuest aren't in a great position to capitalize into B. Sure, they've got 3 players here, but no control into Hookah makes actually controlling the B site really challenging. Especially now that a teleport has come back into Elbow. Autumn repositions down onto the box. Korra now down to so little HP, needs to stay alive here. Needs to get out into the site, but at the same time, Terra has slipped the net. Terra's right into the thick of things. Where are those shots going? Korra somehow alive, living inside of the Matrix. And now all this pressure onto Bunnybee. 4 kills for Korra on that little HP is simply ridiculous. Still, these players are isolated. That teleporter coming into use as Thea gets out of dodge. FlyQuest have gotten away with murder there.
Yeah, and both players now going to look to regroup over towards A. You can see that Kurrosu is aware of the fact that Lace had that opportunity to thread the needle. And now they're able to comfortably look to play a bit further back. At the very least, the vulnerable still available there for Kurrosu, so there is a chance to try and connect that suppression onto Thea and have that potential star not be of use going into this post plant.
Hey, if you can get one pick too, Koro can just, well, I was gonna say ult the other one, force that one-on-one, ignore the time play, but Lace had other ideas.
Nicely done there for the side of FlyQuest. But again, it just comes right down to the wire. It felt like a very similar story on Kurrosu as well. Always coming down to the last handful of players on either side, and the rare flawless round coming in for either team too. But again, just so consistently neck and neck, so well paired between these two teams here. Now this is where we expect that kill contract to potentially come alive, right? You see how far back Rose is playing, maybe looking for that signal over towards A short. But instead, it's going to be the guiding light to garner a bit of information over towards B long, and players actually grouping in Hookah to maintain that control.
I dropped the spike.
FlyQuest are taking B long virtually uncontested, but just like last round, it comes without any guarantees over Hookah. Here we go, one-on-one, it's time. But who better than Bob to face down against Koro? This time not gonna happen. Koro takes up that fight. But the rest of the map is awkward now. Kikimorei have to call 2 players back into the A site because of that lurk kill.
Yeah, and they had so quickly rotated off of A here as well. Kikimorei now looking to sit further back, knowing that they'll have a bit more comfort in playing that retake scenario together. Finding some of those fast floods that we saw there on Kurrosu.
Disrespecting this one way a little bit. And maybe disrespecting it too much. Kurrosu had repositioned after that early fight, and now he's actually going to get 3 kills onto the round. Sure, Core is here, but that's not for long. Kikimorei done everything they need to sit comfortably here with 20 seconds remaining. Now not even playing away from the site. Not giving any fights over to Thea to just choke her out of this one.
Really nicely disciplined. Really nice discipline on the side of Kikimorei for that fallback to come on in. They might be able to get that spike secured, but the expectation for this full sandwich to come on in should make it difficult for her to reposition comfortably.
That is a judge in Autumn's hand. So just working a bit of a distraction angle on the other side. Thea now not revealed. They are going to be fully prepared for this one. Cal Sushi puts a few extra bullets into the dirt as Kikimorei tied things up.
A little run and gun moment there to try and catch Thea off guard, but yeah, tying things up here for Kikimorei. An important round for them, so FlyQuest don't continue to amass that lead, and on the side of Fly as well, you've got that showstopper now online. You've got the Nightfall at that. That's always a really potent combination where you can follow those trails with the rocket, and we know how good FlyQuest has been with setting Korra up on these pushes. Of course, the pacing a little bit different here on Bind because you don't have that same kind of high octane gameplay that you can follow up with those breach stuns and whatnot.
Well, a little bit of octane here. Oh my god!
Yo.
Right into Terror's face. Luckily, Kurrosu's there for the trade and continuing to connect on some of these shots.
Face your fear!
Good bang through the wall there from Bob is going to open up some of the site and access the Nightfall. Bunny Bee, without any audio to play with, has been forced back to play arm in arm with the rest of her teammates. Here comes Autumn, though. First kill goes her way. Now a flash, some support from Cal, but Thea hasn't been dislodged just yet. Thea finally falls as Lace is still sticking things through. Into Lamp, sees the one out onto the wide angle, but it isn't enough to take the round.
Nicely done. A nice attempt from Lace as well to try and claw that one back, but
Idiots.
I think the fast flood, again, that's where we've seen Kikimorei shine in a lot of those retake scenarios. Once Fly does get that plant secured. And so much of that also just lies on the shoulders of Kurrosu to even get those few multi-kills at the beginning of the round, try and even up those numbers when FlyQuest initially found the advantage taking out Terror right off the gate. I think that what I'd like to see as well from Kikimorei is a little bit more of that ebb and flow, maybe trying disrespecting this toxic screen, which is something that they're going to be looking towards this time around, towards A short, and not give those opportunities for that lurk up.
Yeah, they've also got to get in front of the orb that's being put on lamps too, because Ev is doing the setup that just commits all of the Viper utility onto A short to try and blow this up. Wall has come down early, as a matter of course, though.
I like how both ciphers are just at a stalemate. Trips on either side of Hookah,
Yeah.
just aware of the fact that someone likes to swing out.
Well, someone's got to break the stalemate, and it's actually going to be over into Showers, which has allowed Ev to slip forward. Smoke down is not in time. Great lurk, capitalizing off that fight into Showers, and while Bunny B has teleported into Heaven, there's no way to get back in here before Spike goes down.
Oh, that back sight, Viper's Pit as well, just makes it so daunting for him to push back through.
Bunny B really getting in front of things there. Don't know if I love that one, especially the Outlaw in hand. Viper's Pit is a serious, serious problem. On the eco as well. Good spam from Cal Sushi, and now those Seekers ripped. 3 alive gives perfect info for Cal to try and play off of. Now having to be the hero for Kikimorei, especially in a 1-on-3 now. Worried about their back. What a shot from Cal! Snappy and quick onto things. But now the clock is working against them and a trip in their face. Nothing doing in this round. FlyQuest are going to take it.
I was kind of surprised that we saw the Seekers invested into that round as well, but that walkout timing from Ev was everything over towards that A site. And Money's getting in an awkward situation on the side of Kikimorei. We still have that. Well, actually, it's a new kill contract up now here for Kurrosu. Second one here. It's so hard to keep track of them.
Is never unemployed. You gotta give him credit.
No, for real. It feels like you see it up like every couple of rounds. It's easy to lose track of how many they're actually putting online.
Well, let's do it one more time. Sign the paperwork. And, yeah, job done. As simple as that.
Sign, seal, delivered.
Same time, look at Bunny B just going flying into spawn, getting all of these ultimates online. Get some good info now on to Lace. Pops out of that one. Oh, that could be grim. 3 players now from Kikimorei have also pushed out of Hookah. I mean, Kikimorei wish they were on the attacking side, it seems, and what it's allowed is FlyQuest to take some serious space back in towards Elbow onto this B side, but they've got to be concerned about the late wrap.
It's all about that timing, but I think the risk here as well is the fact that Bob's alone on site, spike in hand. Gonna go for that back site plant at the very least.
Ooh, Kurrosu with a third onto the round. It's an awkward one to try and call your way out of, especially now 3 on the flank, 1 coming in through spawn, and I mean, you can't call against what Kurrosu is doing. Kurrosu with 4 kills already into the round. They are hopelessly isolated away from the spike. We'll try and pull a player away from that one. But now it's just too little, too late. It feels like the ace now for Kurrosu. Kurrosu means to kill, and it's a Kikimorei to take a 4th.
High buy power ace here for Kurrosu, like you were talking about. And we had that discussion earlier before Agent Select of if we were going to see either Kurrosu or Bunny B onto that raise, a staple agent for them on this map with how explosive they can be with her double satchels. But I think 17 and 5, we know exactly why they've got Kurrosu just locked in on that ISO. So many opportunities to try and like refresh that shield, go for another swing, that aggression that is constantly catching FlyQuest off guard, and the first timeout to be called Tier of Bind.
This is just a monstrous showing from Koro. I mean, we saw it towards the end of Corrode as well, but nothing like this. Nothing like the 17 and 5 scoreline. Now, if you're on the other side of things and you're dealing with this Kikimorei team with a Koro that's playing so well, what kind of switch ups are you looking at coming out of this timeout?
I think that's kind of tough. I feel like we've seen FlyQuest really leaning into these default plays, just trying to work the map and put as much pressure as possible by the lurks that we're seeing from Lace and Ev over towards short, or whether it's they're actually present there or using that Viper utility to try and block off those lines of sight. I would like to see them maybe changing the pace a little bit. I feel like we haven't actually seen a fast round out of the side of FlyQuest, but off the back of a timeout, that could also be something that Kikimorei read into very comfortably.
Yeah, apart from like the raise rocket and showers play. That was the only one that was off the ultimate. We'll see what happens here. Nice shot out of Autumn, but the trap is still waiting behind it. So far, maybe not expecting Koro. Here we go. Kurrosu slipping down in towards long, and as soon as this corner is cleared, the rest of the Kikimorei have to realize that the A-hit is underway. And Bunny B is waiting here with the shotgun. First player comes into her crosshair, jumping around, looking silly. I mean, it's a bouncy castle over in the lamps for Bunny B. That's not a clone. That's not a clone at all. Oh dear, and Bob might have found an opening. Nothing doing in the end there as another goes Kikimorei's way.
Hey, is it a Bunny B Yoru game if she's not trying to fake clone at least one time?
Sure, why not? We'll give it to her.
I mean, if there's a round to do it, it's going to be that one. But you know what? Kill contract, guess what? It's back up, Ender. Like you were saying, never unemployed here for the side of Kurrosu. And I feel like that's a big part of the puzzle as well, is Kurrosu's just winning out every single ultimate that they're throwing onto the table and putting FlyQuest in a position where they're down at least one player. And even after that, I feel like they're usually so quick to follow up with another pick as well. And just continue on with the momentum.
Quick showers dive, but Terror's waiting for it this time around. FlyQuest need to keep going, need to win out in this fight, but it's not going to happen. And now the Resurrect comes through Bunny with a knife! With Bunny with 2 knives! What in the world just happened?
Hold on. Okay, we're going to have to go back and clip that one. Like, I know that we're not able to pull the replays right now, but that is... I just want to know how the second one happened too. Like, I can understand the chaos of the first because they're like flooding into the players who were pushing in from short or front sight, trying to deal with the showers control. But the second one, I got questions.
I have to know. I just don't understand what I just witnessed. Nothing makes sense anymore. And FlyQuest out of the timeout, that's how you lose? Well, here we go. There's a kill contract on top of some extra shots being rained down on. Just short, hold on a second. Terra might have to be the player to keep things collected now for Kikimorei after losing a couple on the eco. Now that deep wall with Terra in front of it isn't going to accomplish much. Matter of fact, Terra might be using this wall to her advantage. Great mobility on the A site. It's forced FlyQuest out of this round.
Yeah, Terra in a 1v3 as well. Looks to walk back over towards A, but the thing is, we've seen Autumn set up over towards that B site every single round, so it's a comfortable stack here for Kikimorei. It would take a miracle for FlyQuest to be able to take this one home.
Well, who better to make a miracle happen than Thea here on her signature pick of the Astra. Has 1 star to play with. That's not a lot. But with the pole coming back online, at least maybe she could play around the timing of that. Is going to get information. Double teleports coming through. And you can see she changed her mind already. Now that star goes down into Hookah, realizing exactly what is going down. These players, I mean, Cal is not going to find Thea with the dog. This could be a big, big issue. Trying to jump now out of heaven. Thea can't quite isolate the fight. And that's going to pose serious problems. 4 on the round for Terror. See it through.
She was incredible on this round, and I feel like we're also seeing why Kikimorei lean into this Clove pick here as well. We saw it on Kurrosu, now onto Bind here for Terror. She's a heavy hitter player, that is for sure, having great mechanics, and I think it just lends to that kind of hyper-aggressive style of this team as well. If Terror goes down early on, there's still going to be those smokes to be used within that Clove radius at the very least, so a little less punishing to have your controller player being aggressive with the 2 duelists.
FlyQuest need to channel some of the energy they had back in the first half of Kurrosu to come back and keep things competitive into the half, but it'll have to be through this operator. Camera in broken before it sees any info. I don't think there's any idea that Bunny Bee could be on this line, but now the showstopper, this time going into the back of sight, but there's the shield! What a counter! Korra can't do anything against that. Kurrosu just dominating here, but now out of bullets. The rest of the team coming online. Kikimorei are just crushing. The entire play drawn up from FlyQuest Red, useless in the face of Kurrosu's shield.
Last round in the half.
We talked about how powerful those shields can be up against that Raze utility, and is a prime example right there. Again, we even had that discussion about, okay, what would it look like if FlyQuest looked to try and change that pace in these rounds? And Kikimorei were just so quick to respond to that change in tempo. Now, totally switching things up for the first time, we're going to see, or one of the first times, we're going to see Autumn leaning over towards that A site and have two duelists actually looking for that B fight. Off's going to be revealed.
I don't know if you like Koro being here. Oh, okay. Good little double peek there. Bob gets the opener. And now with Kurrosu out of the server, all of a sudden, all of FlyQuest let out a huge sigh of relief. It doesn't seem like they want to speed things up here. I mean, look at Spawn, by the way, where Thea is. Literally still buying her gun, it looks like, Ash.
Well, she was originally posted outside of showers, and they knew the op TP'd over, so she couldn't quite reposition yet. And it slowed FlyQuest down so much. And you look at the insertion that we have over towards A shore as well. Ev is going to be able to relay some of that information if they do hear the rotations from the A players. No, not with the trap triggered.
Ev revealed up. Cal Sushi wins out into the fight, so things have been equalized now. Without that lurk, FlyQuest, it's time to move into this B site now. Keep your eyes on Terra and keep your eyes on Bunny Bee, who is now getting brilliant information for the rest of Kikimorei. Cal Sushi teleporting off of that ulti as well is just a thing of beauty. Bob now backed into a corner. 3 is all she'll get, and 3 is all FlyQuest will get in this first half.
It's an incredibly comfortable first half here for Kikimorei. I think I like the idea. You have Ev inserted. You know what? Triggers the tripwire. Not exactly what we were looking for out of the lurk, but it did draw some of that attention. What surprised me was that FlyQuest was committed to actually throwing the haunt to clear over towards B long, worried still about that operator, and that was just the signal for Kikimorei to actually stop that rotation, pull back over towards that B site. Now, this next pistol round is so important for FlyQuest to pick up. And they're not going to have that cushion to be able to try and force up into that second round as per usual, where you get the extra money from that spike plant either, if they aren't able to take this pistol round.
Well, right now, Kikimorei, 4 players pinching their way towards B, just leaving Autumn on a late A contain. Double swing should have seen a shoulder there onto Ev. This camera actually being taken out of the equation. This wall comes down. A lot is about to go down, it seems. Smoke now onto the site. Pop flash through. Here comes a Kikimorei, but this really nice off angle. Blaze is just chewing up a Kikimorei. I mean, brilliant work out of her and Bob. That pistol round they needed has arrived.
Just Autumn left here now.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, not much you can do. You got like 3 players hopping into hookah.
And they just keep coming as well. There's Bob to see the round through.
Great round for FlyQuest to pick up to try and come back into the second half. I think the other thing that we are going to have to keep in mind here for FlyQuest as well is because Kikimorei aren't running the Raze, it does make it a lot more comfortable for them to look for those backside B repositions because they don't have that same nade that they would have to worry about otherwise. So definitely something that Kikimorei are going to have to keep in mind if they do look towards those B hits.
We must be better
Yeah,
now.
not even like Viper mollies either to push you out of tube. It really is difficult to clear that site. Maybe a part of why Kikimorei were throwing the site smoke down itself just to reduce some of those angles. That might be a consistent issue for them. Not running the Raze is just actually capitalizing and getting into space. You can see a little bit of that in a round like this as they've been hopelessly trapped here. Bunny Bee on approximately 0 HP. We'll hightail it out of there with the spike.
I'm not going to say anything, but Yeah, no HP to really fight. Even from a distance with the Stinger, Bob's going to be able to close that one out. And it was a great play. I think the utility coming out from there, the concussive blast out from the Astra over towards Showers. The timing was perfect for when Kikimorei were looking to flood past the smoke.
FlyQuest, I was wondering if it would be a true bonus or if they'd be upgrading into really anything. It does seem like Bob has gone for, actually, changes their mind. Goes down from a Phantom into just the Guardian, making sure they're going to be set for the rest of this half. It's not going to give them a lot of wiggle room to play with here. Kikimorei continuing with this default. 4 players heading on to the B side, but this time repositioning, not leaving anyone up in hookah, just sending a clone in there. The rest of the team is ready to fight down into long.
It was a nice Viper's Molly to come out of the snake bite, just so nobody could actually follow up against that dog too, and add that pressure, not knowing if someone has maybe even crossed back over towards Slong.
Yeah, and Lace is actually pushed back up into hookah, so getting really good info on how Kikimorei are playing this round out, getting this crazy timing, but Terra actually had her gun out. Now that timing means virtually nothing. Ev also down onto 11 HP, so FlyQuest really licking their wounds right now. As this hit is just about to get underway. Again, very hard to scale into the site. Kikimorei have plenty of flashes, but not a lot of extra utility to capitalize off of, so they are more than happy to greet these re-peaks that FlyQuest are going for and use those kills to scale on forward.
We've got the signaling with the TP here as well, and just the Outlaw to try and retake from CT. That damage to be done, taking Terror down just to 20 HP left.
There's a world here with so little HP. But that off angle abuses Korra, and Thea also not long for this world. So Kikimorei get up to 10, but remember FlyQuest did go for the true bonus there. So they should be fine coming out of this.
For sure. There's also just an interesting even start to that round, because we saw Bunny B like kicking things off with the Judge as well on the attacking side, and I kind of had questions about how that one was going to necessarily play out, but right now I feel like it's interesting how we're seeing both these teams play like that ebb and flow on the map, right? Really just trying to walk up in a lot of those spaces, and Kikimorei very aware of those moments as well. Very deep trip over towards Shower is going to need a signal to fall back towards backside here for FlyQuest.
Kikimorei ready to move here into A quickly. Look at Bunny V strafing back and forth. Just dancing a bit there onto Ev, but Lace is still a problem. A real nuisance. Backing away from this smoke. Deep onto the site. Now that's 3! The super sub, again, has just been ridiculous. Lace has been completely unleashed. Another one going on forward. It is the iBUYPOWER ace for Lace.
What a way to take that round in her own control for the side of FlyQuest. Lace, I mean, a lot of that also comes down to like the smokes that were being thrown down there by Thea, the trying to find that support and be able to play around some of those trips that were a little bit deeper for Kikimorei to walk into there as well. I don't know if you noticed, but on the map there were like 4 smokes down on that A site at one point, and there were the mid-site smokes that they was throwing down on top of the Showers one, and it just gave so many opportunities for Lace to weave in and out and reposition to try and isolate those players.
Absolutely wild stuff. We've seen some heroics. I mean, this series, that's our 3rd ace of the series, by the way. If anyone was counting, we've played 1.5 maps of Valorant, so we got some cracked out players here, and it's kind of what you expect. FlyQuest Red always are really a title contending team. I think Stage 1 was the first time they ever dropped out so early into an event, and I've got a lot of faith in this Kikimorei roster as well to make a deep run. So get used to seeing these 10 players in the server. Well, maybe except for Lace. She's stepping in last second, but you can always count on her too to have a big game stepping up when no one expected her to even be playing.
For sure. I think a big part of your shout there as well is the fact that this matchup for day 1 of Swiss is one that we would have expected to probably see again in the main event stage as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Once we hit playoffs, right? This is something where we're going to see these two teams, one of them find their revenge after this series does wrap up.
Careful
At least
here.
that's the expectation.
It's you and me.
Oh, here we go. Kill contract, and that found Korra. Koro versus Korra. Who's going to take it on this one? It's going to be Korra, as Terra has actually gotten one onto the B site. Now, speeding forward is Bunny B. Dimensional Drift sees 3 players, and the call comes in immediately to go back into this lurk on the A side. Bunny B, are we actually committing onto this one? It looks like it, with a stinger in hand just sitting here in spawn. Now look at Lamps. Ev wins out on the fight, so maybe this ult into the back lines isn't going to amount to much of anything. Some damage is going to be all it'll be at the end. Now Terra, overhealed, decides not to fight up into pipes. Pinged away by that camera dart. It's revealed the position back into Lamps. Pipes and they have already been chipped away at. Now a dog sees 2 players. Cal Sushi needs to show up here. It is time for Cal to get something going, but it won't quite be there. Terra with 3 onto the round. Is it another ace? It's already 4 kills.
Low vault.
And a spike to give some space. Terror has so much to work with here. Going for the timing on the half stick, but Waits is just sticking the entire thing. It's a back-to-back ace. Terror gets her revenge. Another iBUYPOWER ace. That's 4 in this series.
4 in the series, 3 on Bind alone on top of that. That's just insane. Like, the fact that these players are able to just step up in such a big way. Not only that, 2 knife kills on top of that, too, have happened in this map ender. Like, I guess this is a huge welcome back to Bind here. Back to Game Changers.
It's a very normal game of Valorant. I think everyone, you should expect to see 3 aces in one game. I guess I just saw a clip of the other week where there were 3 back-to-back-to-back aces in EMEA. We couldn't quite get that done. But this map is also not over yet, Ash.
Yeah, you don't know. Could happen this round. Might get that 3-peat. I like the scale up, though, where it's belong at the very least. The flash past that contingency wall as well, but Bob's still posted on the angle. Nice signal from Ev with the snake head to try and split these players up, forcing that utility out a little bit early on. And off that, Kikimorei read into that stack here towards the B site.
Marshall up into heaven. Can't imagine much is going to be able to accomplish there against the full buy. Kikimorei have certainly taken their time, and now that smoke, very annoying. There is an angle to get out there onto Rafter, but I don't think that Thea is going to really have much of a shot at that one. Kikimorei play correctly to get away from that trap setup onto B. Now just have to be prepared for the quick retake.
Spike planted.
Early ISO vulnerable has slowed things down considerably. If there was ever a time to go farming for an ace, well, it could be Terra again. That's 2 kills already. Terra goes down, though, pulls up with the res. But already, one has been stolen away from her. No back-to-back-to-back ace. It's a tragedy here on Bind. The real tragedy is that this round is impossible for Thea to play out.
Yeah, tough on that eco there for the side of FlyQuest. And match point now for Kikimorei. Last map on Road, FlyQuest is able to take that 13-10. And now Kikimorei, the ones looking to close Bind out to guarantee that they can go to that decider in Haven. A timeout to be called here from FlyQuest. You've got that showstopper back up here for Korra. We've seen what she's able to do with it before, but also how Kurrosu's been able to kind of bait it out and get that counter with the shield on top of that. There is the Cosmic Divide in play here for Thea. Curious to see which site these players are going to lean towards, though, because I feel like we've seen a couple of like heavy defaults towards one side where they rotate back over a little bit later in the round, but for the most part where Kikimorei have been starting, they have also been ending.
Yeah, just maybe taking things slower on the eco rounds, but they have done a lot of these sort of freezes into rehitter, or like waiting out the Viper utility. I think that's something that you have to give some respect over to from Ev, is that Ev has been pretty consistently, especially on that B side, throwing that forward orb and, you know, playing that jiggle line like we saw in the last round to make it more challenging for a Kikimorei to quickly scale into the space. What I'm curious about is what Fly can cook up here with the showstopper.
Okay?
We saw the last time it was used, I think it was actually last half, and it just got completely eaten up by a shield. This time, we actually have Bob slipping up into shortened, finding a couple of beautiful kills. Great work out of FlyQuest on the openers.
I like that proactivity for them this round. I think you look at those two ultimates as well, and Kikimorei might be reading into like a retake position, so very much so catching them off guard with some of those forward positions.
Now someone has to step forward from a Kikimorei.
Enemy remaining.
Find a kill to get back into the round, and it will be Cal, but unfortunately, Korra is right there and ready to get that one. Autumn might just be forced into a save now. There's not much of a hope into this round, although looking at the money of FlyQuest, any damage you can do here is nice. There's a bit of a bank for a Kikimorei to lean back into, so we're going to go for it, but Ev is lying there and ready. 5 still to go if FlyQuest want to force OT.
Yeah, it still is quite the climb here for FlyQuest. But the two ultimates that we talked about didn't need to be expended in the last round. Kikimorei going to be on a half buy here as well, looking at those stingers into this one. We've also seen what these players can do with the stingers too, especially when Bunny B is looking for those like flash teleports into sight, trying to get past some of this utility and catch the other team off guard in FlyQuest. So I'm genuinely not even counting them out necessarily for this round. This is a team where they could make it happen.
Look, I like 4 of the 5 stingers. I don't like Cal Sushi getting a stinger. Show me that GC share, Cal. I too crispy for the stinger for my taste. But well, here's that showstopper. Oh dear, it's useless again. That could be a serious problem, especially with the Kikimorei zooming on into the site. I mean, it's they in a 1-on-4. Those stingers absolutely crush FlyQuest and are going to bring us to a decider on Haven.